Okay, hi there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Black Spinner Music Podcast. And today we have a couple of great guests with us today. Today we have Jerry Supe, right?
Close enough.
Super
Jerry
duper.
Supe from the Three Shots Down podcast, and he can also be found on the BS Sessions with Mark and Jerry, which does their shows on Thursday nights. And also, we have Al Horta for Be Cool or Be Podcast Out. That can be found on Facebook and also on YouTube. Great live stuff on there. It's a great page. And I just posted his the Roger Waters live show that he was able to go see at Madison Square Garden, and that's also on the Black Spinner Circle page, and it's also on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out. That is a pretty cool show.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're welcome. Well, thanks for shooting it, man. That light show and all that stuff that went along with it.
Yeah.
Man, he really does put a lot into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he does, man.
He really does. It just makes you think how it could be if, well, that ship has passed.
Pink Floyd never went small, man. So
yeah.
Go big or go home, man.
Yeah, even without him there, it was still a grand statement.
Oh yeah.
Jerry, you saw just Pink Floyd with David Gilmour, right?
That was a Pulse tour, 1994. Yes.
Yeah. I saw that same tour as well, Division Bell tour.
Yeah, it was opening night in Miami, man. It was just like it was heaven for me. That was my favorite band.
Yeah.
I was going to go see him on the Momentary Lapse of Reason tour, but I can't remember the reason why I didn't go there. I can't remember.
I have the same thing happen to me. Like my friends went, a couple of my friends went to that, and for some reason I didn't end up going, and I kick myself to this day for that.
Yeah, but man, the freaking the Division Bell tour, just amazing, man. I mean, it still blows me away when I think about it, man.
Yeah, just put on Pulse, man. Just watch it.
Yeah.
I got a bootleg of. I know I have a video bootleg of the show that I was at. Somebody shot it on video, the whole thing. So sometimes I'll pop it in and relive it, and it brings back memories. So
that's pretty cool. And I'm also out to bring it back to a more current band. You were able to see Plush today do a acoustic set.
Oh yeah, man, they were awesome. So I went up to WDHA Studios here in New Jersey. They were doing an acoustic set in the parking lot. They did like 4 songs. They actually did a cool cover of Alice in Chains' "Man in a Box."
Oh wow, acoustically.
Yeah. And then and it's cool because then there's a place called Gary and Meg's Chicken and Ribs, and they do like a whole spread there. So they give you lunch there, and you get to see a nice acoustic performance. And then the band was really cool. They hung around after and took pictures. And
I saw them. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They signed my DHA. It's like a sign that I have. So they all the 3 of them signed it. So it's going to go on my wall. Eventually when I move in my new house, it'll go on my music room.
That's awesome. They look like there's some really cool girls on there.
Yeah, and the video for that, I've shot that whole video, the whole performance. So it's on my YouTube channel now. I uploaded it already. If you guys want to check it out.
Do they have a new drummer yet? Or?
They have. It wasn't on this performance, but they're going on tour. Actually, with Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin and Bush in like 3 weeks. It starts, and they have a new drummer. I forgot what her name is, but they're ready to go with her. They've been rehearsing with her or whatever. So
Awesome.
So they're ready to go. But the 3 of them, man, they were very gracious and took pics with me. And I was talking to them about, I was talking to Ashley, the bass player, about like basses and stuff like that. And they were really cool. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw Mariah. That's her name, right? The singer.
Yeah, Mariah, the singer. Yeah,
she was on The Voice. She auditioned for
awesome.
The Voice. She didn't get very far, and I couldn't believe it because she had an awesome voice.
Yeah. But this band's starting to pick up steam, man. They're getting their name out there. So, And I figured I'd go see them now in this little setting before they blow up. And
right? Yeah.
become like untouchable.
Yeah, I saw them back in May when they did Rockville.
I haven't seen them. I haven't. This is the first time I ever saw them live, so I have tickets for that Alice in Chains show. So
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna get there early because they're gonna be the first band on.
Right.
And I'm definitely gonna check out their electric performance. So
they're really good, man. They really are. They engage with the fans.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So and they're doing it the old-fashioned way. They are hitting the pavement and playing their music.
Yep.
Which is the way that you do it.
Yep.
Instead of going out for the 15 minutes of fame.
Yep.
And real quickly, they're putting their names out there. They're hitting the road, and they're hitting the road with veterans who they can always turn to because we all know that a rock community is very tight.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta support a band like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really talented. They're really like just acoustically they were like kicking ass, man.
Yeah, awesome. So Jerry, what have you been up to?
Not much, man. I've actually I had a couple of vacations that I've gone. I got another one coming up in a couple of weeks, but other than that, just hanging out, spending time with the wife, getting some stuff done around the house.
Yeah.
Cutting up carpet all day today. I'm all kind of nasty right now, actually. Sorry, ladies, it don't look that great, but other than that, just chilling. I mean, doing your show, doing our BS show. Still working on finding a host for my podcast.
A co-host?
Yeah, co-host. So, and other than that, I just, listening to music, hanging out, and working. That's it.
I completely hear you. I went back to work today because I was on vacation Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then I went back today. And you know how when you go back to work, you're like, ugh.
Oh yeah, first.
I should never have stopped.
Yeah.
But it was a cool, day. We got inventory and all that crap tomorrow, but I'm not going to worry about that. So let's get started. Today's episode, we are doing. This is going to be a new segment for us. This is going to be called Dial M for Music. What we're going to do a top 10 of bands or artists that start with the letter M. So let's get started without further ado. Jerry, what's your number 10?
Well, my number 10, people always say give up a man card because I love her so much, but I don't give a shit what people say. I love Alanis Morissette. I think she's one of the most talented people out there. I mean, you cannot deny the impact that woman had in the mid-'90s in the music scene. And still today, her music is incredible, in my opinion. Saw her live last time. Still sounds great. Sounds just like the freaking album.
I love her voice. It's so
incredible, man. It's a beautiful soul inside, too, man. That's my number 10.
That's a good start. Al, what did you start off with at number 10?
Well, I'm going to start off with Montrose, Sammy Hagar's first band.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on that first album alone, which is classic.
Oh, yeah.
From top to bottom. I got to be honest, man. I think to me, that's my favorite thing that Sammy ever did. He went on to do some couple good things, solo and a couple of VH tunes here and there. But I think that first album, he never bettered. It was nothing better that he ever did since then.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
that was a great band, man.
Yeah, Bill Church,
Denny Carmassi on the drums.
Denny Carmassi, who went on to play with like Heart, and Coverdale Page,
Michael Schenker Group, I think.
Okay, he went on. Very underrated drummer, man. I mean, he doesn't get name checked a lot, but he should because he's killer, man. That drum sound in that first album. To me, rivals like Bonham at the time,
Right. No, that's good. Yeah.
And, give credit to Ted Templeman because he's the one that produced that album.
Yeah. And, it sounds like a Ted Templeton.
Yeah.
It really does.
And then, of course, Roddy Montrose, man. I mean, killer guitar player who played with Edgar Winter beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
They were a heavy band when out of the gate, like one of the first real heavy American bands, And yeah, that first album, man, still gets a lot of spins for me. Second album isn't that great, but I Got the Fire on the second album. I think is one of the best Montrose songs. Definitely, like probably number 1 or 2 for me. You know, I love that song. I love the Iron Maiden cover of it too. And then they, after Sammy left, they released a couple more albums. Vocalist Bob James, and then a guy named Johnny Edwards in the '80s kind of became, and he did an album with Foreigner when Lou Gramm left. So, but anyway, Montrose, man. I mean, I got just based on that first album alone, which is it should be in everybody's collection. To be honest with you,
yeah. So, it should be. But their second one's pretty good too. There's a couple of extended.
Yeah, Paper Money.
Paper Money has a good album.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't stack up to the first album, but
no, it doesn't. You're right.
I mean, it doesn't. It shouldn't get the hate that it gets, though. I mean, I think it's a really good album. You know,
but I Jump on It too. That was a good album too. I mean,
yeah, Jump on It. That's great. Yeah.
I mean, but
they had a solid discography.
Yeah, that first one was just awesome, though. I mean,
yeah. So that's my number 10.
My number 10. I'm going to start with a Washington D.C. punk rock. No, not punk rock, but hardcore punk band. Led by Ian MacKaye. It's gonna be Minor Threat.
Oh yeah, great one.
That
almost made my top 10.
Yeah. This is their CD that came out with everything on it, with all their EPs. It's called the Minor Threat Discography. It really 1, 2, 3 punch, man. And the lyrics are just so good. Just a really good band. I got into them in the late 90s, so I was a little late coming on it. But I really enjoy them. So Minor Threat is my number 10. What's your number 9, Jerry?
Again, people try to take away my man cards for loving this girl so much too. But man, when you hear Sarah McLachlan's voice, man, it is just like an angel, man. I mean, I love her music. I've seen her live 4 or 5 times. I can't remember. Fucking hasn't made a bad album in my opinion. Just an outstanding songwriter, which is getting to be a thing of the past, unfortunately.
It really is.
And one of the greatest female vocalists in history, in my opinion. I first heard her voice on a song "I Will Remember You." It was on a movie. It was on the Brothers McMullen. You ever see that movie?
I remember it.
It was like part 1 is She's the One, and the other something like that. I was like half asleep, and I just heard it was the end credits there. I heard that song come on, and I was just like, "Who is that, man? Her voice is just awesome." And I've been in love with her ever since, man. It's one of my favorite singers.
Oh yeah, I know that Ed Burns did that too, but I never saw that though.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many times I've seen She's the One over and over just to hear that soundtrack in the background.
Oh yeah, Tom Petty one, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a really good movie too with Jennifer Aniston.
Cameron Diaz, yeah.
Cameron Diaz. Yeah. Who was the girl that played his wife?
I can't think of her name. She's in a lot of movies. Well, she was at that time, but I cannot think of her name right now.
But she looked familiar.
Yeah, she's a very pretty girl, but I cannot remember her name. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up and I'll get back to you. Al, what's your number 9?
Well, I just saw him recently in concert. He's still great live and everything. I got to go with the Steve Miller Band. Just just a radio staple. You know, I mean, so many hit songs. I mean, you can't turn on classic rock radio, you know, and not hear them on there. Yeah. You know, Fly Like an Eagle, Abracadabra. You know, Take the Money and Run. I mean, the list is endless with him. Yeah. You know, and seeing him live, it was like my wife and I went to go see him, and it was just hit after hit, man. He was great, you know, and still going, man. I mean, he's like, I've seen him live quite a few times, man. He was always kind of like a summer staple here in New Jersey, at least, you know. Usually he plays the Sheds, but this summer he played a smaller theater like near my house, so it was really cool to see him. And like I said, man, he hasn't lost anything, you know, and he's got a catalog that you can't deny, so I got to throw him in there.
Yeah, every time I've never seen him alive, but I watched his videos. He always seems happy, man. Like he's loving what he's doing.
Dude, he loves what he does, man. Yeah, you can still tell he enjoys playing and stuff. And you know what? Like this last time I saw him, and he was playing some killer lead guitar, and he doesn't really get that sort of credit. I mean, he's more in the songwriter realm, great songs, but his guitar playing kind of gets overshadowed by that. But he was playing some killer lead guitar, so props to him on that. So Steve Miller Band got me my number 9. I listened to him so much growing up as a kid. I remember him, I remember when I was 10, I remember seeing the Abracadabra video on MTV, and I was like, man, at that time, like it was kind of a comeback for him.
Right.
Yeah, it was, especially in like '82, I think is when.
Yeah, I don't think he was actually in the video. Well, they showed a couple like weird blurred visions of him, I think.
Yeah, kind of a cartoonish almost thing of him. But
I like that song. A lot of people didn't like that song, but I liked it.
I like it too.
I think it's a great song.
It's catchy.
It was a big MTV hit, and then kind of revitalized them. I remember all the kids my age were like singing that song and stuff. Right. So he must have loved it, So that's my number 9.
Yeah, that song was a big seller for him. My number 9 is a band that I got into probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm glad that I did. They kind of took over Southern rock when the Allman Brothers kind of lost their way there in the late 70s. And I'm talking about the Marshall Tucker Band.
Yeah.
These dudes really can put in some really good long solos on flutes, guitars. And in fact, there were brothers that led the band. Unfortunately, they're both gone.
I think all the original members are gone, aren't they? If I remember right. I think
there might be one left.
I think there's one more left, and he tours with the name.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure to what extent. But Marshall Tucker Band,
great Southern rock band, dude. That's a good choice, man.
They really played some really good songs. Of course, they had it's not coming to mind right now.
Can't You See? Because that was a radio staple,
Yes, and for the longest time, I thought that was the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Until I got another album back here. Well, I got about 6 or 7 Marshall Tucker albums back there. I put it on. That song came on. I was like, "What the hell?"
What else they had? Heard it in a love song.
Heard it in a love song. Yeah. Heard it in a love song. I always get that one and Amy mixed up with, from the Pure Prayer League. Yeah. Yeah. But that's my number 9. It's going to be the Marshall Tucker Band. The band, they're just so smooth in the way they play. And I got a double album back here that Charlie Daniels is also on. So he helped them along the way because he was also part of that Southern rock as well, especially jam bands, which is what I like to think of Marshall Tucker as being a jam band as well. Number 8, Jerry.
All right, give me some of those band cards back, man, for this one. The great band Metal Church, man. I freaking love them, dude. Their first 3 albums, not the first 3 albums, but their best albums: Blessing in Disguise, Human Factor, and what was the one after that one?
The Dark.
The Dark. It was one after Hanging in the Balance, I think it was. Yeah, but Mike Howell, rest in peace, man. What a great singer he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't with the band for a while, but man, freaking suicide, dude. It's like, what is up with all these people committing suicide, man? Just messed up, man. But
it sucks.
I mean, a great solid band, man. I mean, I remember seeing them for the Headbangers Ball for the first well, I first got into them with the Headbangers Ball and just loved them, man. Great sound, great voice. And they write good, catchy tunes too, and some good hard ones too.
Did they come out of San Francisco as well? Out of that scene?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that he lived in Tennessee when he killed himself. I know that.
I think Metal Church was a California band, though. I think. I'm not really sure. You'd have to look it up.
I will.
I don't think they were from the Bay Area though, but they're a great underrated band, man. I'm glad you picked them, actually.
And they're still kicking too, I think, if I believe.
Yeah, they're still around, man.
Yeah, it says they were formed in San Francisco.
Okay, so they were.
Or they relocated to Aberdeen, Washington.
Okay, all right.
So they were part of that.
I remember they did a concert here in pre-COVID. Like I didn't get to go to it, but it was them and a couple other great bands, and I kind of wish I went to. I've never seen Metal Church live. I'd like to see them once at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They were just on fire with that classic, 80s lineup, man.
Oh yeah. They got some MTV airplay too. I remember.
Yeah, they did.
I remember a couple of videos by them.
Yeah,
Badlands got a lot of play. I remember a couple other ones. Yeah,
really
good pick. Al, what's your number 8?
I got to go. One of my favorite Canadian bands, Max Webster, with the great Kim Mitchell on guitar and vocals. They came on my radar because of my love for Rush, and they opened up for Rush a lot in the late 70s and into the 80s, and just reading about their name in magazines and stuff back in the day, like before internet and stuff. And I remember I had to go to a record store. You couldn't find their records in the record store here. They were just such an obscure band. I had to order like a CD from like the back of a magazine.
Oh wow!
I got like the best of Max Webster was like the first thing I got. It was like the only thing really available, and I got that. And then I remember going to a record store near my house, and my friend worked there, and he's like, "Dude, if you want, I can order those, as imports, and get you like some of their catalog." And I remember like getting them and really loving them. They had Andy, I mean, you're really into Zappa, so you dig them if you really kind of like check them out. They got like a Zappa kind of like influence in them. I consider kind of Kim Mitchell the Canadian kind of almost Frank Zappa, because he has he's humorous, and just a killer guitar player too, man. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he shredded, man, back in the day, and he's still around too. He tours as a solo artist, because Max Webster dissolved. They broke up in like 81 or something, and then he started a solo career. But Max Webster, man, I love them. I think they only had 5 albums. All of them are solid. They're great. If you never heard them, check them out, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to check them out. I heard of them, but I probably heard some of their songs. But
they did one song with Rush too together, like both bands in the studio, called Battle Scar. And if you remember, pull that up on YouTube. It's a killer song. Like 2 bands playing together in the same song, man. I mean, you could just imagine what that sounds like.
Yeah.
And Gary McCracken was the drummer of that band, and he was a great drummer too, man. He's still around. He was a great friend of Neil's, and when they toured together back in the day. So Max Webster, my number 8.
We did a Drop the Needle with me and William Toast, and we did a Max Webster album. We did the one with I'm not too sure if that's Mitchell on the cover, but he was wearing like a yellow leotard.
A yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah. That's the one that had battle scars on it.
That's their last album, Universal Juveniles. So that's a good. Yeah, that was their last one. I don't consider that one like their best, but that's still a good album.
Yeah, we got the needle on that, and that was my fresh foray into Max Webster.
If you really want to like hear the Zappa influence, like check out their first album, just called Max Webster. I mean, I think you'll really dig it. So
yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, that's my number 8.
Oh, my number 8. We've already talked about it, but I will go ahead and talk about it too. The Steve Miller Band.
Nice.
I love this album cover. Just so great.
Yeah. He had that album cover as his backdrop for the concert.
For the show, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But I saw him a few years ago, and you're right, man. He still plays good. He looks like he's having a great time up there on stage. He played all the hits when I saw him. One of my wife's favorite songs is "Jungle Love."
Yeah.
By them. That fun rhythm. You know, that really good riff on there. So that's going to be my number 8. It's going to be the Steve Miller Band. You know, he's been a part of our lives for the longest time, ever since we were in our early teens, or maybe even before that.
Yeah, before that, yeah.
Because you hear these songs as you get older, you're like, I know these songs. You know?
I mean, he started in the late '60s, man.
Yeah,
you know, but he didn't really start getting real hits until like the early '70s. Really started hitting his stride.
Right.
I think in the late '60s, he was more like a blues kind of. Like
it was more of a blues band.
Yeah, blues band.
It really was. I mean, like big time blues band where they didn't even sniff the top 40 or the radio at that time. They were just a band that did critical acclaimed albums is what they were at. And then of course he changed his sound. Well, he had to change his sound so they keep going. You know, there's only so far you can go. Then it's either you just stop or you reinvent yourself, and that's what Steve Miller did. He reinvented himself, which is great. Jerry, what's your number 7?
Al mentioned him earlier. It's Montrose, man. I mean, Sammy's voice was on fire back then. I mean, who doesn't like Bad Motor Scooter or Rock Candy? I mean, come on, man. Those songs still kick ass. They still fucking are amazing today. Excuse my language. Bill Church, Denny Carmassi, solid freaking band, and you know, their first few albums are just legendary, man. You know.
Yeah, it really was. You're right. That it's a great album. I didn't pick them, but they were on my list. But
one of the first songs I ever learned to play electric guitar was Rock Candy.
Oh wow, really? Yeah. And he still plays that song live.
Yeah, Sammy does.
Yep. That's still part of his repertoire. That one and Bad Motor Scooter. Yep. Those 2 songs he plays all.
And he should keep those songs going because they're freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's really cool to go see Sammy because you go through a whole history that he's done. You know,
the band he has now, The Circle. I mean, it's pretty much it's a career retrospective for him.
Yeah,
it pretty much goes through like his whole career and stuff. So I think that's probably why he doesn't want to do Chickenfoot anymore, because Chickenfoot only did Chickenfoot songs. Although I did see them, they did do Bad Motor Scooter and Highway Star when I first saw them. I guess because they only had one album and they had to fill out like the set with like a couple covers.
Right.
But they did a killer version of Highway Star, actually.
Highway Star?
By Deep Purple.
Oh, yeah, but who was in Chickenfoot that was associated with Deep Purple, right?
Well, Satriani actually played with Deep Purple for a little while.
Oh, did he?
For a while, he did.
That was kind of like a little bit of the connection there, you know?
Okay, I would never trying to find a replacement.
Yeah, I think he did a Japanese tour with them or something.
Yeah, because Blackmore left in the middle of a tour.
Yeah, right in the middle. I think they were supposed to do a Japan tour, and he left.
Yeah,
and they got Satriani real quick.
Okay. Yeah,
that's right. He quit. That sucks. In the middle.
I know.
You're like, what the hell, dude?
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm not here anymore. But I got the first Chickenfoot album. Which is okay, but I couldn't get into it. I was so surprised.
Yeah,
I like all 4.
That band had a lot of potential, and it didn't live up, I don't think, to what it kind of. You know, they were okay. They weren't like.
Yeah, they weren't what you would expect them to be. You know, with Chad Smith and Hagar and Anthony and Satriani. Dude, that's a great band right there. You know,
you would think it would be a good band.
Yeah. Yeah, with those names. I mean, that's an all-star.
It just goes to show you, though, you can put all the freaking best guys in a band, and the sparks might not fly. You know what I mean? So
I'm not one of those people that hate. You know, you hear Facebook people that hate for Sammy. You know, I like his solo stuff. I like him with the Montrose. I didn't care for him with the Van Halen or the Chickenfoot thing going on.
Yeah.
But, so
I just don't.
I'm not one of those people who bash Sammy for everything he does. Actually, I liked his new song. Actually, I heard it. Mark played it for me the other day. It's pretty cool, actually. So.
I don't understand the hate for him. I really don't.
It's because of Van Halen lovers.
There's hardcore Van Halen people that like just was like, when he came into Van Halen, he neutered the band or whatever, and you know.
But you get
Eddie was going in
back.
Eddie's just as much to blame and that too. He was going in that direction.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie calls the shots. Period. He wasn't going to let anybody in and let them guide the band. There's no way. I mean, Eddie wanted to go in that direction, so that's the way they went.
I think anybody that took that spot would still be getting bashed today. I think so.
Yeah, but it was back in '85.
Yeah,
I mean,
Patty Smythe was, I think, one of the front runners, wasn't she, to take over for Lee Roth?
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
I don't know how that would have worked, but
I love Patty. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, me too.
Oh yeah. I mean, but she would have been a little bit radical, maybe.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I hate to pick on Sammy again, but on this new Megadeth album, on a bonus track is with Sammy, and they just don't mesh well at all. To me, they just don't fit. Just doesn't. All right, Al, what's your number 7?
I credit my brother, my older brother. Like when my brother got older and he moved out of the house, and then he got me a job, so I started working with him, and he was a rocker guy when he was younger, and then he explored. He really got into like jazz and stuff like that. And when I started working with him, we'd always listen to jazz and stuff, and I really started getting into it. And one of the guys really I loved, and I mean, he's a legend, is Miles Davis. And
absolutely,
I really came to love some of the stuff that he did, especially like when he got into fusion into the 70s and stuff. I mean, he just smoked, man.
Yeah.
He really like kind of invented that genre, and then and then going back to, I mean, the classic albums like Porgy and Bess and my Kind of Blue. I mean, it's kind of Blue is kind of one of those albums that everybody should have in their collection, even if you might not. I mean, people. I know people that like don't like jazz or whatever, but it's just like if you're gonna have something jazz in your collection, that's like the one album to really have, and you got to have a Miles Davis album because he's just like the king of that genre. You know what I mean? So, and I've really come to love him, and he was. If you don't really know a lot about him, I suggest checking out the documentary on him. I think it's on Netflix, Rebirth of Cool. And it really the guy had he had a nasty heroin habit, man. Just like most jazz guys did.
Yeah, really they did. And jazz women.
Yeah, a lot of them died from that stuff, man. But he didn't die until like later on. But Miles, man, I mean, he's got so many albums, dude. It's crazy, But you just I gotta have him in my top 10 because. My brother really opened up my mind to like other genres of music, and jazz. I mean, he's the top of the heap for me in the jazz world. So, yeah, I've gotten a couple record store day releases by him.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, there was a great one, the Bitches Brew album. There was outtakes of that. That's a great album too.
Yeah, I always hear about that one.
That was really when he went into his fusion kind of era. So that's if you like fusion, that's the one to get. If you're more of a jazz purist and Kind of Blue, it's the one to get. I think those two albums really in everybody's collection though. But Rebirth of Cool, that documentary, just a great documentary, man. And it really opens you up. I mean, he was a rock star, man. He really was. Everybody wanted to play with him, and it was really cool. So. Yeah, Miles Davis, my number 7.
True American form of genre of music too, jazz.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a Miles Davis like greatest hits.
You put up a good album the other day. Was it Women of Jazz? I think it was you put up there.
Oh, Women of Jazz, yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at that list. The Etta James and all that, just incredible songs, man.
Yeah, and they each had 2 of them because Dinah Washington was on there, and so was there were quite a bit in there.
Yeah, that version, God the version of God Bless the Child. I can't remember her name right now. It's just amazing. I can't remember the singer's name right now. But yeah, it's an incredible vocal. I mean,
I cannot remember her name, but she's like the most famous. And Diana Ross played her in a movie called The Lady Sings the Blues. And a young Richard Pryor plays piano in that movie for her. I can't think of it. But it'll pop up in my head later. Miles Davis. So we are at my number 7. I'm gonna go with this band fronted by this lady. It had this name and then it went and changed to her name, but it was still the same. I'm gonna go with Miami Sound Machine with Gloria Stefan. Dude, I love the Cuban flavors that they do. Before she kind of went into adult contemporary, but they're in the mid to late 80s. Man, this band really did bring in the Cuban flavor.
I used to have the biggest crush on her, man, when I was in school. She was hot.
And the keyboards, and I love her voice. And I've got several albums and a couple of cassettes from them. They're a really fun band to listen to. They were all over the radio when I was a kid with those pop songs.
I have a few Gloria albums. I have a few of her solo albums. Into the Light, I think it is, and another one I have from her. It's good music.
Yeah, it really is. Into the Light was more of her early 90s.
Yeah.
And they had really stretched out when they got into that. And it was her and her husband. Of course, they changed the name to Gloria Stefan and the Miami Sound Machine, and then just went to Gloria Stefan, and then just came to Gloria. It's like, okay. But we all know that they were still with that Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah.
No, it's just what sold tickets. It's what sold albums was her name, and rightfully so, because it was her voice.
Right.
That was great. And I got another one here that's pure Spanish from them, which is another good album from them. All right, we are going to number 6. Jerry.
Well, this band, these two, I know when I mentioned this a lot, when these two people get together, they're magical. But these two people, I don't think could have got with anybody else but themselves. I'm talking about Jim Steinman and Meatloaf. Talking about a perfect pair that probably would not have worked with anybody else in the world. But, man, when those two got together, man, amazing theater. I mean, just power-ass vocals. I mean, cool-ass jams. I mean, he had a kick-ass band with him.
Yeah.
I was actually fortunate to see him on his last tour before he passed away. And his voice wasn't the greatest, but he gave 100% of what he had left on stage. So
He always does.
But, I mean, he left it all on the stage. I mean, the people tell stories, his band members say he just, after the show, he'd go backstage and just pass out.
Yeah,
they just walk all over him because it was like a normal thing. It was like no big deal. It's like, passed out again, get him up, So the guy put it all on the stage, man. He really did. And they wrote catchy tunes together, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you cannot deny the, That Out of Hell, man. The impact that out, man. So I mean,
no one else could have sang that or performed it or whatever you want to call it, because it was more than just singing on an album.
Those two people probably couldn't have worked with anybody else and made it work. You know what I mean?
And they shopped that album around for a while, and they never got any.
Todd Rundgren helped them get that.
Yeah.
Album out.
Yeah, and there was a big chunk of the E Street Band that played on that album.
I mean, if you look at all the hits on that thing, it's like, damn, there's a lot of people regretting that decision. Not signing that.
Man, they brought in a lot of money.
Yeah,
they really did. And I did like Bad Out of Hell Part 2. It was okay.
I really liked the third one. I was a pretty big fan of them. So,
But that first one, I mean,
that's.
It was the right time with the right people, the right feel, and they hit it perfect, man.
I'm not 100% sure, but isn't it still a top 10 selling album of all time? I might be mistaken. I know it's up there, but I don't know if it's top 10 or not. But
it's still up there.
I have to look that up, but it was a long time, I think, but who knows?
I never saw him in concert, but I saw him in person, and I yelled out his name, and he stopped and he waved because I was in New York City, and he was leaving. Like I get CBS Studios, and he was getting to a limo, and my wife and I were all like, "Oh my God, it's Meatloaf!" So we yelled his name, and he waved at us, and he got back in his limo.
And he was totally awesome in Fight Club too, man. He was badass in that movie.
He did some good movies, man.
Yeah, the one with Steve Martin too was really good. Leap of Faith, I think it was. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Leap of Faith. Yeah, that was a good movie. That was with Deborah Winger too, right?
Yeah. Liam Neeson, all kinds of people in that movie.
Oh wow. You see, I wish I was more like Al that can talk to these people. I get so nervous when I see
every day
or in bar, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? Hi, my name's Al."
In the beginning, man, I was nervous, like always, like kind of if I would meet somebody. But I don't know. I guess of years after of doing it, like I kind of like I'm more confident now, and I just feel like if you go up to an artist and you don't gush all over them, that they respect you more. You just kind of just be chill, man. You know, don't fanboy out, and they'll respect that, and you know they'll engage with you. You know what I mean? It kind of helps to know, like, if you know like some of their hobbies outside of music, and kind of like going through the back door and kind of, you know, if they like baseball or if they like this that. I feel like if you kind of talk
about something outside that realm.
You can talk to him like a human being instead of a rock star.
Exactly. You know, I mean, artists get turned off and they get embarrassed. Like if you're like, "Oh, you're the greatest," and all, you know, and I can see that. You know, like, you know, I mean, it's just kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just
sign my arm. You know.
It's like, you know, just talk to them normally, man. And I've learned that, like, after meeting so many, you know, artists like throughout the years,
right? You
know, so I mean, there's still there. I mean, I don't get me wrong. There would still be artists that, like, if I saw them, I'd probably be intimidated, like, to, you know, I mean, shit, man. If I ever like saw Paul McCartney,
right?
I'd probably turn into, you know, the Saturday Night Live skit. You remember when you were the Beatles? That was awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is that you've met some big time people, though, man. Like Dio and all of Sabbath. You know, that's not.
I tell you what, Dio was the nicest guy of everybody I've ever met.
I hear. I
mean, as far as like his stature, you know, like, I mean, he's one of the greatest, you know, metal vocalists of all time. You know,
right?
And but you know, he just comes off as like such a great human being, you know, and was really like appreciative of like the fans and everybody. And he just know. I think because he saw, you know, I always read an interview or heard him in interviews that he was like that because he saw Blackmore be such an asshole to people, you know, and he didn't want to be that guy, you know, like Richie Blackmore. You know, he was just an asshole to like everybody.
He just looks like he would be.
I mean,
to his fans and everything. And Ronnie was like, you know, the fans are like what make you. You know, it's like, how can you be that way to them? You know. So he was always vowed like he never wanted to be that way. So
it's hit and miss when you see rock stars in public. I mean, if they're out to dinner with their family and they're a dick to you, you understand why, because they're out dinner with their family, you know?
Yeah.
I think, see, to me, the one that was the hardest to like keep my cool with was when, you know, Ronnie was cool, right? But meeting Tony Iommi, you know, and as, you know, me being a guitar player, and the guy invented like heavy metal.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is like a god, and he's like in front of me, and he's talking to me for like a good 10 minutes. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm fucking talking to Tony fucking Iommi and shit, you know? But I kept like, I tried so hard to keep my cool, you know? And it was hard, but I did. And I think he saw that, and he, you know, he respected me. That's why he engaged with me more than just like a minute or two. Like he, you know, he talked to me for, you know, about 10 minutes. And I was like, you know, I was blown away, dude. You know, and he was a nice guy too, man. I mean, he was really very gracious and You know, he was like, "You want to take a picture and everything?" And you know, I didn't even ask him; like he asked me. And so, that was really cool. I mean, again, I met these guys in the back room of a record store.
Right.
My friend that was a DJ got me back there, so it wasn't like this. Like you're in a record store and they're rushing you through to get something autographed. It was actually like a little hang back in the back room. And it was at that Vintage Vinyl, that place I just posted the pictures.
Right.
You know, and it was really awesome, man. I mean, I got to meet like one of my heroes.
That is so cool.
I mean, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I've met. I mean, I always wanted to meet Eddie Van Halen. That's never going to happen now. I mean, I was too young to ever meet Randy Rhoads. You know, he's gone. I mean, even before I became a guitar player. But I still, like, my one guy that I'd love to meet would be Jimmy Page.
Oh, I was about ready to say that. Jimmy Page or David Gilmour, I couldn't walk up to
them. David Gilmour as well. But if
I'd be so afraid to walk up to them, I probably wouldn't. Man.
If I met Jimmy Page, I could die a happy guy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he would be like, for me, meeting Jimmy Page and Tony Iommi are the two pillars of like heavy music. You know what I mean?
I'd be like a teenage girl. I'm never going to wash his hand again.
Forget it, man. Oh, it's crazy.
Interesting. Okay, what is your next one, Al?
Well, speaking of guitar heroes, and one that I love a lot, another great Canadian power trio, Mahogany Rush, Frank Marino. One of the greatest unsung guitar heroes of all time, in my opinion. I got to see him live probably about 10 years ago, and I had to scrape my jaw up off the floor because he was that good. I mean, he played like 3.5 hours at B.B. King's Blues Club here in New York City, where I went to go see him at. And in the beginning of the show, after the first 2 or 3 songs, he was just like, all right, you know, it's going to be a long night. If you guys can just hang in there, you know, it's going to be a long night of music and everything. And my friend that I went with actually ended up, you know, at the 3-hour mark, he was like, dude, I got to go, you know, and I wasn't leaving, man. You know, he's like, dude, you could stay, because we took the train in. So he walked to the train station, and
3 hours in, damn.
Yeah. And then like 3.5 hours, man, it was like almost 4 hours he played, and it was just mind blowing, you know. And he was doing Hendrix, he was doing like all this stuff, man. And he's just like unbelievable. And I mean, if you're gonna pick one album out of the Mahogany Rush catalog, you got to get Mahogany Rush Live, that came out in 1978. I mean, that will just melt your face off, you know. And he toured a lot with Aerosmith and Ted Nugent and all them bands like back in the day. I think they shared management, you know. But he was just like one of those guys that kind of never, you know, went to that Aerosmith, you know, level of fame. And I think he deserved it. It was just one of those things that never happened for him. But he's a cult hero, though. I mean, a lot of guitar players will cite him as an influence. I mean, Zakk Wylde and, you know, definitely like, you know, that's how it kind of came to, like, when Zakk Wylde first joined Ozzy. I remember reading an interview with him, and he cited Frank Marino, and I'm like, who's this Frank Marino guy? And I checked them out, and Mahogany Rush. They were around since the early 70s and released a slew of albums, man, and they're all like pretty solid too. There's not really any bad albums, man. So but if you're gonna get something, get the live one from '78. You won't be disappointed. If you don't have anything by them, you know, that's the one to get. So Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush is my number 6.
I actually heard he's in pretty bad health right now, actually, too.
He had a tour booked and then he had to cancel it. Yeah. So, which is unfortunate. But I fortunately got to see him live once. So, you know, he was man, he just blew me away, man. Yeah. I actually recorded it too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, back then I was more. I was a taper back then, like an audio taper, not video.
Yeah.
Now everybody has phones. They can, you know. Right. I mean, videotaping back in the day was hard. You had to sneak a camcorder.
I know. I remember.
But I used to record shows with. I first started out very cheaply with just like a cassette player, a little cassette Walkman. with like an external mic, and then I graduated up to like a DAT recorder. I got a DAT digital tape recorder, and I recorded a ton of shows with that. And I recorded that Mahogany Rush show with that, and it came out killer. I mean, the sound is like unbelievable for an audience recording.
Yeah.
And I got to pull that CD out and listen to it one day. But I have a bunch of bootlegs, man, that I've taped and I've shared like on BitTorrent sites. One day, like, you know, I'll let you know like what I got, and you guys will be like, "Damn, you got that, you know." So I kind of made a name for myself back in the day as like a taper. So in that community, there's a whole underground community of that.
Yeah.
But now with the advent of YouTube and everything, everybody records on their phones. That kind of went by the wayside. You know, nobody really does that.
Yeah, it's like everybody's out there with their cameras and their phones anyway.
And nobody stops.
There's like no more hiding or
you can't stop
art,
from doing
art anymore. You know.
Yeah, I think they're just pretty much you know, everybody's given up. You know, trying to stop that. So.
Oh yeah, they can't. You know, I was at Imagine Dragons last Thursday, and man, you should have seen the phones. Oh, and not just that, you should have seen all these kids, man. I didn't know there was such a kid band.
They were.
I
saw them a couple of years ago. I took my daughter because she went through a phase where she was liking them, and man, there was so many kids there. It was it's like you.
It was like a Chuck E. Cheese show. I was like, are these people?
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with the name, maybe. You know, Imagine Dragons. It's just such I think kids are attracted to the name. You know.
Well, I was also hearing that what the guy stands for is like positivity. And stuff like that. And the parents of these kids really like the message. That they send out.
Yeah.
And I swear.
Did he fire his band though?
Huh?
Didn't he fire everybody in his band at one time though?
I don't know because they all look familiar to me.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody.
I don't think Imagine Dragons. I don't think the guy did that.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else then.
But I swear, man, I was watching the show. We were there late, and it was outside. And I was like, man, I mean, it was packed where my wife and I were on the top of the hill, but there were these two kids behind us. Might have been about 9 or 10, and these two dudes sang every single word to every song throughout the show. I was like, dude, are these kids for real?
My wife really likes them too. Yeah, some good kids, a couple good kids that I like.
Yeah, and they really had a good light show. But man, what really grabbed me was the way these kids gravitated towards this. You know, I guess they're a pop rock band. You know?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And it was really cool that these young kids were into that because who knows what that's going to lead to them later on.
That's what I mean. And you got a fan for 40 or 50 years, if not longer, you know?
Yeah, which is really cool because I remember being that young and being excited to hear bands that I love. My next one, I got a couple of female singers that are going to be coming up. My number 6, right?
Yeah.
I've talked about her before, but Mariah Carey in the early 90s to mid 90s, untouchable.
Can't deny that voice, that's for sure.
Her voice, her writing, her production. I mean, she worked so hard doing all of this. You know, she was more than just a pretty face. She really put herself into the music, and I had mentioned her during the Unplugged we did, and she was so fantastic in the Unplugged session. But I do like her regular albums. I think she's great. I would love to see her live. I don't know about now. I don't know because I've seen a couple of snafus lately of her. You know, they're not being up to par.
You'll be hearing her a lot in another month or two.
Oh yeah,
I know. So where she's trying to coin her phrase, the Queen of Christmas or whatever the hell she's trying to do. But back in the day, man, she was it. You know, especially in the 90s. I mean, she was part of those female singers that rolled radio waves and also MTV as well. So my number 6 is going to be Mariah Carey, and I think she deserves it. She's great. Jerry?
Actually, I'm looking at this pick now, and I'm like, I don't even know if this should even be on the list in my opinion. But Motley Crue. To me, Motley Crue was 2 albums. I mean, after their first 2 albums, they had a couple of good songs here and there, but their first 2 albums are freaking awesome, though. You can't deny that. But I don't know. Theater of Pain didn't do it for me. Dr. Feelgood, I had a couple of good songs on it. But their first 2 albums are worth mentioning to be, on my list. But I actually wish I could take them off now. But
really, huh.
But
remember, Montrose only had that one.
Yeah, but I hear they're tearing it up though on the tour. That's good to hear, though. So,
do you think because they're dragging their legacy down in the mud? Maybe is that why you're second guessing?
I get it. I even get Kiss to a certain extent. You do this your whole life, and you don't want to stop or quit. You know what I mean? I understand that to a certain extent, I guess, because I get on Kiss all the time for it, and I'm thinking about if I was doing it and I really loved doing it still, why would I want to quit? But with Motley Crue, again, the same thing as Kiss, man. You do it your whole life. You don't want to quit, man.
I mean, that's their job.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
is.
I was very disappointed from Dr. Feelgood on. Now, I liked it when,
John Corabi.
Yeah, he was really good.
I love that album. I love that album with him, man.
Yeah,
I think there's a maturity and there's a. Right. I mean, their musicianship went up a couple of notches on that. And I don't think Tommy Lee's ever sounded better. Mick Mars was great on there, and John Corabi singing and playing guitar as well. That to me, that's like my number 3 album by them, behind the first 2.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on that one. Yeah. Because man,
but that's the one. But that's the one. Honestly, I probably listen to the most nowadays. Is that album? Right. I mean, you put that on now, man. It still sounds fresh today. And
I mean, I tried to listen to Dr. Feelgood again the other day, a couple weeks ago. It's just the couple good songs on it, but man, it's just.
I made a post about Dr. Feelgood on some other. I think somebody posted about it. It was the anniversary of the album or something like that, and I was like, I don't know. I tend to feel that Dr. Feelgood is an overrated album. I mean, I liked it when it first came out, but I was young, whatever. But like. Listening to it back now, I mean, Nikki Sixx always wrote like pretty great lyrics, like clever, especially on those first 2 albums. Even Theater of Pain has good lyrics in there too.
Yes.
And then he started falling into that cliched heavy metal trap of like the cliched lyrics. I mean, on Dr. Feelgood, it's like She Goes Down. I mean, really, Nikki? It's like, come on.
Oh, it got worse on Girls is worse than Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, if you really read like some of Nikki Sixx's lyrics, man, I mean, they're pretty dark, man, and menacing, and you kind of, it's the same thing with Cheap Trick, you kind of have like, you don't really, and unless you're really listening to the lyrics and taking those, they're behind like these pop hooks that kind of like. You don't really think about like how dark the lyrical matter is, but like, dude, if you read like those early Cheap Trick lyrics too, I mean, Rick Nielsen was pretty like dark, like some of the shit he wrote, especially on that first album. But the same thing with Motley Crue, like the first 2 albums, man. I mean, shit that Nikki was writing was pretty fucking intense, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean.
I agree with you with Dr. Feelgood. That's like Revenge from Kiss. Everybody says Revenge was such a great record, but man,
there's filler on there. There's a lot of filler on there, man.
Like I said, their first 2 albums, I guess, what made my list. But other than that, I could do without ever hearing anything from them again, except for like the John Corabi era. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
and I like Saints of Los Angeles.
But there's like sporadic songs here and there, like from these albums that are good. Yeah. But I don't think they've ever made like a solid album.
No,
like since.
No.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, that's my number. What is that, 5? Yeah.
5.
Yeah, 5. What's your number 5, huh?
Well, I'm going with another guitar hero, Leslie West at Mountain.
Oh, dude, I almost put Mountain on there.
Yeah, dude, I wanted shit, man, they were like one of the first real American heavy metal bands as well. Real heavy for their time, man. And to me, Leslie West, it was like he had that killer tone, that guitar tone that everybody died for, man.
You're right back, guys.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody knows them by Mississippi Queen, but they had a lot of great. You dig deep in their catalog, and they got a lot of great ones.
Yeah, I got like 4 Mountain albums, and I even have that Les and Lang and
Russ, Bruce, and Lang.
Yes, dude, that was good too.
That's a great album too, man.
Yeah, it really was. And the thing with Mountain is that it was with Felix.
Yeah,
he was in
Felix Paparazzi. Yeah,
he was from Traffic, and he also had a hand or a little bit of writing to do with Cream.
With Cream, yeah. Producing, I believe so.
Yeah, producing. Yeah. And then he joined this 3-piece of Mountain.
Yeah,
and Mountain's fucking ferocious, man. They really are.
There was I remember quite a few years ago. There was they did a concert here in New Jersey, not Mountain, but it was West Bruce Jr. and Lang. It was Jack Bruce's son.
Okay.
That filled in, and they did a concert here. My friend actually, I couldn't go to it, so I gave my friend the tickets, and he went. He said it was a killer concert. So I kind of wish I would have saw that. That would have been cool. But I've seen Mountain a couple of times. I've met Leslie West twice, and he was always really cool, man. And
he seemed that.
Unfortunately, I never got to have a picture with him together with him, but I do have his autograph, and I've met him twice. I met him once after a Mountain concert here in New Jersey, and then another time he was coming out with it was like the last album he released. It was a Leslie West album, and he did a signing at that vintage vinyl place again. They always were getting artists there, doing signings and performances.
Right.
And he had a guitar with him, and he was playing a bunch of Mountain licks and all that stuff. Again, man, the guy has such a killer tone that people died for, and he was a big influence on Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads really loved him, and we lost Leslie. It's probably going on 2 years now. I think he died the same year as Eddie Van Halen. And ironically, I saw Mountain open up for Van Halen on the 5150 tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I thought they were fucking awesome, man. So, and
I also got this one.
I'm sorry, not Mountain. It was Bachman Turner Overdrive, and Leslie West came out and played with them with BTO.
Oh, okay.
That's who opened for Van Halen on the 5150 tour. But I got to see Leslie West even back then in the 80s, which is really cool. So that's so what was that, number 5, right?
Yeah, I've also got this Leslie West band one.
Yeah, dude, Leslie West was great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people loved him, man. And everybody, like I said, everybody strived for that guitar tone. He had one of the best guitar tones ever. So
he also does really not odd, but this is with this got Dear Prudence on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this one also has Mick Jones. Is that the Mick Jones from Foreigner?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. Yeah,
I think so too.
Well, Mick Jones used to be in a band called Spooky Tooth,
right,
before Foreigner. So I think him and Leslie, I'm sure they were friends way back in the day. They probably toured together and everything. I'm sure.
Right.
So really that's 5. Mountain, Leslie West.
Leslie West with Mountain. My next one, it's going to be another female. This is my last female on our list, but loved her in the late 80s and into the 90s. And I've tried to get into her stuff that she did in the 2000s, but it doesn't grab me too well. But she'll always be an icon. Talk about Madonna. This is her Like a Virgin album. Fucking gorgeous, dude. It's crazy. And then
better than she looks now.
Huh?
Better than the way she looks now.
A lot better, man. If these women would just let themselves gracefully,
she has the fear of growing old, and unfortunately, she's resorting to too much plastic surgery.
I mean, like Jamie Lee Curtis, man. She's aging, gracefully with no.
She
keeps her hair gray. Doesn't do nothing with the wrinkles. So that's great. I mean,
But Madonna, it's not just her look. She's trying to keep current with the song, with the music.
Trying to stay relevant, trying too hard.
And it doesn't even fit her at all.
Yeah.
It's like I was watching this game show. I can't remember her name. She was on King of Queens.
Leah Remini?
Leah Remini, yes.
Yeah.
She hosts a game show on the Game Show Network. Wow. And you can just see the work she's done on her face. It's just, she was a beautiful woman, man. She can't even move her top lip. It's like, why do they do that for?
I don't know. Just, I guess because they were in the public eye like that. And not just that. Remember when she was on Saved by the Bell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I never knew she was on that show.
Yeah, she was on that. She dated
yeah, when they left the school and went to the beach.
The college, right?
No, they took a
beach,
a beach summer job.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, and she was the daughter of the owner of the beach club.
Yeah, but it's like all these beautiful women are doing it. That's just
yeah. Madonna really won one because she was she was something back then, and not just that. The club days where she started, man, she hit the pavement. She started from the bottom. She worked her way up, and she got everything that she deserved. And it'd be nice if they would just let the young ones take over. But it came to me, Billie Holiday.
Yeah, there you go.
Billie Holiday.
Yeah, Madonna was great. She no problem sticking that middle finger up to the industry and everything.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
she definitely groundbreaking.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she did what she wanted to do, and she did it well.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that Like a Virgin thing she did on the MTV Video Awards. I mean, it's tame nowadays, but back then, I remember all the shit she was getting for that, man.
Oh, dude, it's like these days, it's not even sexy anymore. It's kind of ugly, because I remember being a kid. Me and my friend would get together and watch these award shows. Now, I don't have kids, but I wouldn't let them watch what's going on right now, these award shows.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sexy, and then there's WAP. You know what I mean? It's like, that's disgusting in my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah, it's too much. It's way
like I said, I don't like shit on people's art, but man, it just doesn't do anything for me. It disgusts me, kind of. It doesn't
especially when they're
not attractive at all, in my opinion.
Especially when they're on the People's Choice Awards. Come on, come on, man. But we are at number 4. What's your number 4, Jerry?
Let's see here. Number 4, the great John Cougar Mellencamp. I mean, the guy, never changed. He always stuck by his guns.
Always.
Everything was done his way, and it worked out well for him. I mean, a freaking American Fool. I mean, just another person here, like 2 or 3 songs a day. If you're driving a long distance, you'll hear on the regular radio.
Yeah,
songs from that album.
Yep.
He did good things with his career, like Farm Aid and all that. I would have loved to have seen a Farm Aid. Didn't you say you saw one out, or was that Andy?
I saw Farm Aid.
Yeah, how cool would that have been, man?
Yeah, I saw him on Farm Aid. Him, Neil Young, and a bunch of other people.
The guy smoked 5 packs a day, man.
yeah.
He's had plenty of heart attacks, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and I like what he said. It's like when he hires new musicians, the first thing he tells them is, "This isn't a democracy. It's done my way." And you know what you're doing.
Yeah, got his name on it.
But I mean, a true hit maker too, man.
Oh yeah,
just a legend.
Yeah, he had that Americana about him, and to go on with a couple of albums again, American Fool and Aha and Scarecrow and Big Daddy and The Lonesome Jubilee. Those are all great albums. I mean, he ruled the '80s going into the '90s easily. But I did get to see him live. He opened up for John Fogerty, which was a very fun show. And speaking of John Fogerty, Netflix is going to have a CCR documentary coming out. I saw that, and I Miss History that came out on A&E, but that's now on Hulu. History.
Yeah. If you've never seen the Kiss one, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I'll probably check it out. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm cool with Kiss.
Yeah, no, it definitely goes through their whole career. It's really pretty in depth.
Oh, for real, it's good.
It just sucks that Peter and Ace weren't really involved in it, but they did use interviews interspersed from them, so they still have them in there. It's just that they didn't do anything new in the documentary, but still a good documentary though.
So how far do they go? Like, do they go album by?
Yeah, it goes like through their whole career. It's I remember it was broken up into 2 parts. It was part 1 and part 2. So it pretty much covers like their whole career. So.
Yeah, so that's available on Hulu. Like I said, that CCR, because there's not that many CCR documentaries out there that I know of. Because they really don't do that many of them. But we'll get to see how John Fogerty got screwed of everything he worked his whole life for.
Yeah. But John Cougar wasn't afraid to write what he felt.
Yeah. Like what he had in his mind came out to his fans. It came out to the music world.
Yep.
That's a good one. Al, what's your next one?
Well, much like I was a hard rock guy and everything, and I branched out. As you get a little older, you start branching out to different genres, and I got to go with the king of reggae, Bob Marley. He's an artist that's right up there with all the greats. When somebody utters the word reggae, he's the first one that comes to mind.
Always.
And he's just such a. His lyrics were just revolutionary, and I just, for me, like, when I'm out on the beach and I want to like just kind of hang out alone, just putting him on always brings a smile on my face. I could be like in a down mood, and I could just put him on a nice summer day, and he just lifts me right up, man.
Great beach music, like Jimmy Buffett and frickin' Beach Boys, man. They're good by themselves, but when they're at the beach, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's just such a summer. He's just such a summer staple for me.
And again, you still hear a lot from the guy's music. You still hear a lot on commercials or movies or whatever. Music is still relevant, man.
Yeah. And I remember my daughter, when she was like really, really little, Nickelodeon used to have like this, she used to watch Nickelodeon, and they used to have in between like cartoons, they used to show like some videos and stuff, and they used to play Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, and in like a cartoonish like kind of, and I remember her freezing and stop, like when the song was on the video, and she just was like transfixed to the TV, like listening to the song. So I remember one time picking her up from like when she was in preschool, and I put that song on just the radio, so there's no video or anything, just to see if she would recognize it. And sure enough, like when that song came on, like she like perked up, and she was like kind of like singing along to it, And I have fond memories of that song. It's like every time I play it now, I just think of like the innocence of my daughter, like being really young, and it's the power of music, just like. And he's timeless, man. You can't. 100 years from now, man, people will still be talking about him and playing his music.
I think so too.
He will be one of those artists, along with the Beatles and stuff, that will still be talked about. 100, 200, maybe even 400 years from now. People will be like, remember this guy, and whatever.
Yeah.
I think it will happen. He's timeless though, so. And Steer It Up, man. It's one of my favorite songs by him. I love that song. It just, I don't know, stirs something up in my soul. Like, just makes me happy to be alive,
I love the No Woman, No Cry. So much
No Woman, No Cry is so beautiful, too.
And that song. And
he just so much emotion,
Yeah. And speaking of Three Little Birds, Imagine Dragons played that song.
Really?
Too. Yeah, they did an acoustic song to Three Little Birds.
Wow, that's great, man.
And again, the kids knew that song. I was like, how do these kids know this song? It's like, damn,
Yeah.
where the hell have I been?
Yeah. So that's what, number four.
Yeah, my number 4, I got them higher than Jerry did since Jerry wanted to kick them off their list. But Motley Crue is my number 4.
Okay.
This is the back of Shout at the Devil.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the picture. So, you know what? I think you open it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely badass, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were so menacing.
yeah.
You know, I like Jerry. I loved Theater of Pain. Such an important album. That was
I like that one a lot too.
I love Theater of Pain. Girls, you know, kind of went downhill. And the same thing with Dr. Feelgood. It was hits with a bunch of filler. And then the John Corabi album, I still can't get into that. I think when we did that Motley Crue ranking, I think I had it towards the bottom.
Yeah.
And everybody else had it towards the top. But
I love that album, man.
But I do love Battle of Los Angeles because if you really listen to Battle of Los Angeles,
Saints of Los Angeles.
Saints of Los Angeles. Sorry.
You think it Rage Against the Machine?
Rage Against the Machine.
That was a movie too, wasn't it? Battle of Los Angeles, I think.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
know. Was it?
It was like one of those like animated, realistic looking films, I think. They used the real actors, but they gave kind of a cartoonish look. I don't know. Going off subject here, sorry.
Oh no. It's all right. I gotta look at that. But you're right. Battle of Los Angeles is Rage. But I meant Saints of Los Angeles. It's kind of an autobiography of the band. If you listen to the album from start to finish, it tells the story about Motley Crue, which I thought was.
Yeah. I did this like 4 or 5 days ago, and I'm really wish I could take them off because when I was looking at them, like I thought about it. Really, only with 2 good albums, I put them on the list. I don't know who I would use to replace for now, but you know.
But that's going to be my number 4. It's going to be Motley Crue. Yeah. They've always been very important to me ever since I was in elementary, I guess. You know, so and they've always been there for me, even though I don't play anything lately from them. I do go back to Shout at the Devil and the first 3 albums quite a bit.
Did you like their movie, The Dirt?
No, I did not.
You didn't like it?
No, I really don't like movie documentaries when they're played by other members. But I do like to watch a documentary of a band. But like, I didn't like that. I didn't like the Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't like the Elton John one. And
I like Bohemian Rhapsody, but I like the other 2.
And I wanted to like the Elton John, but it was so scattered. You know, they would play songs in different places, and it wasn't chronological order.
Well, they did that with the Queen one too.
Yeah, you see, so that kind of threw me off. So
yeah, I think the Elton John was more like a musical than a movie. Which then I realized is Elton John, so it probably should be a musical. But,
yeah. But that's why I didn't like The Dirt that much. I didn't like the portrayals by them, by the actors and stuff. So I just prefer documentaries on bands instead.
That started out with a real unusual scene. I'll give them that much, that movie, but we won't talk about that. I think we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't blew my mind. I was like, wow, they're actually showing this on an actual movie? Wow.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't enough about the music. It was more about their debauchery of drug, sex, and alcohol. And they kind of put out they kind of omitted the rock and roll parts. You know,
the Aussie scene was pretty cool. Yeah, the Aussie scene was pretty cool though, sniffing the ants. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of Ozzy does a really good cover of that Mississippi Queen. Yeah. About the only good song that's on the Undercovers album. But what's your number 3?
Number 3 is one of the big 4, Megadeth.
Okay.
You know, I mean, just great thrash music. Mustaine is awesome. I mean, all the way from Killing in My Business up to Endgame is just incredible freaking albums, in my opinion. I'm still waiting for the new one. I'm like the last person that's getting it in the mail. Everybody else has got it to me.
I haven't gotten it yet either, actually.
Oh, okay. It's like it's going to be on the 15th.
I'm still behind. I'm still behind on music right now because of my moving and all that. I just don't have time to really,
I haven't heard the whole album yet, but I like what I heard so far. I'm actually going to listen to it on the streaming, but I'm kind of waiting for the CD to hear it all.
It's a really good. I went to the store and bought it Friday. I love still going to the store.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're one of the deserving Big Four in my opinion. There's one band that I don't think belongs in the Big Four, but that's another show. It's a great band. So many musicians too they've had. I couldn't even tell you their current lineup, to be honest with you.
You still have Kiko on lead guitar. Now it's James Lomenzo on bass. I can't remember who the drummer is right now, but James Lomenzo, he was in Megadeth a while, but when Ellefson first left, he became like the bass player, and then that was it. And then it was years that he was the bass player, and then Ellefson came back, but now he's the bass player again. He didn't play on the album though; it was somebody else that played on the album. But yeah, James Lomenzo. I mean, he was in White Lion and who else was he in? Pride and Glory with Zakk Wylde. So he's been in some. Oh, David Lee Roth. He was in. So he's been kind of like shit. The only member out of White Lion that really kind of kept going. Except Mike Tramp too. Yeah. But I mean, Vito he just
fell off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Well, did he kind of retire, I guess?
Yeah.
What a shame, man. That's
he's
a talented musician. Man.
He stopped because he wanted to take care of his father, I think, or his mom.
Man. That was a great guitar player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that Megadeth album's a really good album. I heard it all weekend long, and I like it.
But yeah, like I said, that era of Megadeth is one of the best eras in music history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, that's my number 3 as well. Yes, Megadeth, man. So, yeah, man. I mean, shit. When in high school, they were a big part of my, getting into heavy music, and I'd say they were probably like my number 2 favorite in the Big Four. If I had to rank them. Just great technical. I mean, Rust in Peace, man. That should be in everybody's collection. And Peace Sells. But one album I really love a lot. It's sandwiched in between those two classics. Is So Far So Good So What.
Oh yeah.
I really love that album, man. But I guess it gets overshadowed because it's in between Peace Sells and Rust in Peace. So those are considered like their two, killer classic albums. But I do love. I mean, even after that, Countdown was great.
That's my favorite album.
Euthanasia was really good. I really enjoyed that album. They took a dip with Risk. That was like the album that really, I kind of didn't even dig that album. But I mean, revisiting it, I need to revisit it and see how it holds up. But
the only true dud, in my opinion, is Super Collider. In my opinion, but
yeah, that's a bad album too. But that and Risk, man, were pretty bad. Yeah. But Risk has a couple of good songs on it. I think The System Has Failed is a great album when they came back. Yeah. But originally, I think that was supposed to be a Mustaine solo album. And then, and then the cool thing about that album is that Chris Poland came back and played lead on that guitar. And it had Vinnie Colaiuta on the drums, which was, and he was in Zappa and all that shit. And I'm like, dude, Vinnie Colaiuta is playing on a Megadeth album? Shit. That's crazy. But that's just, Mustaine was just there. We got all the great musicians to always play with him. So, but that's my number 3, Megadeth, man. I love Megadeth. Yeah. And I need to get that new album, man. I haven't, like I said, man, I haven't had time yet.
It just seems like everybody's got it in the mail except for me so far. I'm always last when it comes to that shit, too.
But I do like Megadeth, but they didn't make my top 10. I'm not quite there yet with them.
Yeah, Motley Crue didn't make my top 10, and I love Motley Crue, but I don't know. I didn't have room for them in there.
But another band that's number 3 for me that are a part of the Big Four. And in fact, I think today's the anniversary of And Justice for All, so I'm going to show the And Justice for All
Yeah, it is a
album today. Metallica is my number 3. I remember listening to this for the first time when I was in junior high. Well, when this came out, me and my friends used to a tent in the backyard. It's also the night I learned how to smoke cigarettes. But my friend had this on cassette, and man, we heard it all night long.
Yeah.
All night long, flipping it. And I remember we had stolen some Benson and Hedges from his grandmother. And we smoked them, and we were.
I tried those. This thing's disgusting.
And Cool. Remember Cool? Those menthol?
Yeah, I can stand menthol cigarettes. I can stand. I was a Marlboro Light smoker.
What?
Marlboro Lights.
Marlboro Light, yeah.
They're calling something else nowadays. They changed the names. I don't know. Yellow or white. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't smoke anymore, but that's how I learned is hearing that. It was, and then of course, that led to that led on to, Master of Puppets, and then I worked my way backwards. And since then, I think I've seen them about 4 or 5 times. And I do like almost everything that they've done, so they're very important to me. So Metallica is my number 3.
Did you guys go to Monsters of Rock with Kingdom Come, Dawkins, and all that?
I went to that.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah.
You know what? It's so funny. My uncle went, and he bought me a T-shirt. And then I saw him recently, and he brought me the pin that he got with a monster swinging the.
I had a T-shirt.
I still have that T-shirt. That's the one he brought me.
I still have the T-shirt, but it's so faded and everything. It's kind of tough to even see it. But I put it away because I never wear it anymore. I didn't want to wear it out anymore. But I still have the fucking T-shirt. I think it was a bootleg shirt. I bought it on the parking lot though. But
and then the back had all the bands.
Yeah, the back had all the bands.
Yeah, they came over here to at Houston. They played at Rice Stadium. At Rice.
Yeah, they played here in the Meadowlands, the Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
So
but,
I remember it was so hot that day too.
Yeah, it was a summer tour.
Yeah, fucking people with hoses. I was down in Miami at that time.
It was in the 90s, and it was really, really hot, like pushing 100. Yeah. And I remember people were passing out and shit. Yeah. Crazy.
And my 3 uncles went together, and of course I was too young, and I was living in Corpus Christi at the time. But they didn't know who Metallica was. The only thing they knew is that they didn't fit on the bill. With Dawkins, Kingdom Come,
right.
Scorpions, and Van Halen. And I think that was the 5150 or the OU 812.
That was OU 812.
OU 812, yeah.
All right.
And they were the first one after Kingdom Come, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Come, Dawkins, Scorpions, and Van Halen. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. And it blew my uncles away. They're like, what the hell is this? Because, it was completely different from what they went over there to listen to.
Yeah, it changed my world around. Metallica did. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry, Andy.
No. I was done. I was just going to say Metallica is my number 3.
Well, okay. That's my number 2. So we can continue talking about it if you want.
Go for it. Now you say whatever you want.
They definitely. I was more into classic rock, at that time. I really didn't care for the newer music, but when I heard Master of Puppets for the first time, man, I was just hooked, man. It took me back to Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All. I started liking bands like Maiden, Priest, and all them after that. The Saint Anger area, Saint Anger era, and Death Magnetic. I can do without those two, but I still think they got one more Master of Puppets in them. They were close on their last one, so I'm hoping they still have that one great fucking album left in them. I think they got it in them still.
I think that was Death Magnetic. I love Death Magnetic.
I never could get into that, man. It's better than Saint Anger. I mean,
it's a whole lot better than
Saint Anger.
His drums. Mark Allen Taylor says it's better when they do it live because that drum sound's not there. Maybe if I heard it without that drum sound, I might like it better. But I mean, just the impact that band had is just you know, and they still sell out in a matter of minutes.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
No matter what they do, I mean, they can go on with freaking Miley Cyrus, all kinds of people, Lady Gaga. They still sound freaking great.
Yeah, but that was a good performance with Gaga.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people get on the bands like that when they do shit like that, but I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's just a one-off. It's not like Lady Gaga joined the band.
Miley Cyrus is going to be their new lead singer. Yeah,
just that one thing, and it was fun. Speaking of that one thing, I do want to know. Well, yeah, I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
No, but Elton John did a duet with Britney Spears.
Oh, yeah.
How that sounds.
Tiny Dancer, wasn't it? Or something like that.
I don't know what it is. I just know that
it's called Hold Me Closer.
Huh?
It kind of sounded like Tiny Dancer a little bit.
Oh, really? Huh?
Something like that. I don't know. I heard it one time. Yeah.
Al, what's your number? What? 2 band?
2. The punks love them. Metalheads love them. I'm going with the Great Motorhead.
Oh, fuck. Jesus.
How can you not have the God Lemmy in there?
I switched Motley Crew for Motorhead, okay?
I switched it.
No, it's too late.
Crap. What am I? Come on, Jerry.
I mean, dude, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have Megadeth, Metallica.
You're exactly right.
All those bands, you know.
I mean, that's thrash. It just wasn't called that yet.
Yeah,
that's a serious queen for my part.
But Lemmy didn't like being called metal, and he was just rock. He played rock and roll.
Yeah, it was just rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, just high octane rock and roll, man. You know, and you can't help but when you put a Motorhead album on, man, you just can't help but bob your head. I mean, I love Motorhead, man. You know, and I got to see them a bunch of times, so I'm glad. I wish I could have met Lemmy. He's one of the other guys I would have loved to have met.
Right.
And he seems like he would have been really.
Yeah, he seems pretty approachable.
Yeah, he's approachable. Like, you know, like he would have hung out and, you know, had a drink with you and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, my wife, who likes like Pretty Boys, actually had something about Lemmy that she liked. So. Yeah, he had that appeal, I guess. I don't know what it was. Yeah. It was just him, I guess, maybe, you know.
He just had this coolness about him. I think that probably, you know, just attracted, you know.
And he wasn't trying to be gorgeous. I mean, he had this thing on his face.
He just was who he was, man. Like, just, you know, I am who I am. I don't give a shit what you think. And, you know, and he had this confidence about him and just played killer music, man. You know. And, I mean, I don't think there was really ever a real bad Motorhead album. I think they were all pretty solid, man. You know. But, of course, you know, everybody, you got to have the Overkill. You got to have Ace of Spades. You know, you got to have those that, you know, the original like lineup is
Eddie Clark.
It's sad that they're all gone.
Yeah. I think there's only one guy left, I think, one of the replacements.
Well, you know, Phil Campbell is.
Yeah, Phil Campbell.
And Phil Campbell and Mickey D are still alive. Mickey D's the drummer.
Mickey D, yeah. He's the Scorpions, ain't he? Yeah.
He's in the Scorpions now, yeah.
But Phil Campbell has a pretty good
side, like another band now.
Yeah. Phil Campbell and the Bastards, I think.
Yeah.
And his sons are in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to.
That album was pretty good.
Lemmy was one guy I wish I would have loved fucking meeting him. You know, when I saw him in concert, like I should have hung around and tried to meet him. I probably would have been able to, but I just didn't do it. You know, so. But anyway, I love Motorhead, man. Number 2 for me.
Number 5 for me, I kicked Motley Crew out. Motorhead's taking his spot.
You know, it kind of took me a while to get into Motorhead, but they were playing a festival, and I went to go see them live since I was already there. And man, I was like, wow, kind of blew me away. I was like, man, why have I been ignorant to this? And the same thing with Slayer. I saw Slayer doing a festival setting. And they blew me away live, the same way that Motorhead did.
Oh yeah, man!
And
ever since then, I'm a Motorhead fan. I wish I had more stuff by them, but I didn't put them in my top 10 because I was more familiar with these others that I did put on there. But Motorhead's fantastic. My number 2, they're a 60s band. I used to love their TV show, and it would come out Nick at Night.
Yeah.
And that's when I really fell in love with them. I got a big discography of them. But I chose the one that they kind of cut the strings and played all the instruments themselves and sang themselves and wrote most of the songs. Wrote most of the Monkeys headquarters. This was their third album. Fantastic songs on here. Like
another hit machine, man.
I'm fortunate I got to see them live too, man.
Did you?
Yeah.
I never got to see them. I had tickets to go see them, but COVID hit. Like, I was supposed to go see them the end of March, and COVID hit in February. So they moved the concert back, like maybe a couple more months, and then of course we know how COVID just took over everything for longer than just a few months. And then
when I saw them years ago, I saw them. I want to say probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was Peter Tork and
Mickey Dolenz.
Mickey Dolenz. They were together, and then Nesmith actually played with them via Skype. Like they Skyped them in.
Oh, really? Okay.
On the screen for like 2 songs. So really, I got to see the 3 of them play, which was great.
Yeah.
And then Peter Tork died, and then Nesmith and Dolenz started touring together. And I think that's when COVID hit.
Yeah, that's when he passed away, and I had tickets for it too, and I was so excited.
Yeah, and I wanted to go see that, and but now it's down to just Mickey Dolenz now.
Just Mickey, and if Mickey tours, I would go see him.
He still does, I think. I think he's trying to, or still does, or wants to. I think.
Yeah, I really want to see at least one Monkey, and he was always my favorite. I think, I think they got a bad rap. I think they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I believe so too.
I have no problem with that.
I mean, I understand people wrote their songs, but
they were bigger than the Beatles at one point.
At that time, they really had those slots, and they were friends with the Beatles too. They really hung out a lot, and
I love that.
Peter Tork.
I always loved their TV show. Man.
I did too. Goofy as hell, but still makes you laugh, man.
Yeah, and it was really ahead of its time. The way that they would do the trickery with cameras and props and stuff like that, it was pretty crazy.
Cool. They do a song at the end of the show. I love that.
Yeah, well, they would play like 2 songs.
Yeah,
they would perform them, and so Monkeys are my number 2. I know it's high, but it's high for me.
That's awesome, man.
Because I really do like the Monkeys, and man, I got all sorts of stuff by
I'm like the only one who likes that Mike Nesmith song. What am I doing hanging around?
I love that song.
I mean, it's
one of my favorites.
I love it. Yeah.
It tells a great story, of that train going from San Antonio down to Mexico, and I didn't know much Spanish, but there wasn't too much time for talking.
When I saw the Monkeys live too, it was when they came out with that last album and had a bunch of guests on it and stuff. And I remember
Rivers Cuomo from Weezer was on there.
Yeah, Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne came out and played with them, and we all know when COVID hit, he passed away.
Yeah.
So it's weird, man. Like it's like 3 people that I saw at that concert are like gone now. It's nuts.
Yeah. And on that last album, I think it's called Good Times or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good album, man. Really.
Yeah, man, it really has a good song on there called Me and Magdalena. Beautiful song with beautiful harmonies by Mike and Mickey on there.
Yeah.
Just a great song. But Monkeys are my number 2.
Yeah, my wife and I, man, sometimes we'll throw some Monkeys on, just like really enjoy it, man. It's like, because my wife loves the Monkeys too.
Yeah.
Me and her had such a great time at that concert. And I remember, like, I actually snagged the set list from that concert too.
Oh, did you really?
So I have the set list here at home. I got to post a picture of it. So, but yeah, man, it's like a nice memento from that concert.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody walking out of that concert without a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah. It's like every song is just a good time song.
Beautiful, man.
And it feels good, Even though, I've heard around circles now, Last Train to Clarksville is about the Vietnam War. He was calling his girl and saying, I'm about to hit my train. I'm about to leave. I may never come home. It's a really sad song, but it's sung so happily.
Yeah.
All right, number one. What's your number one, Jerry? With the letter M.
Man, when you mention great guitars, this guy is always not mentioned on the list, and he should be. I love them with the Scorpions, UFO, Macaulay Schenker Group, MSG, Michael Schenker Group, man. That guy's one of my favorite guitar players. I mean, so underrated.
Now that's a guy I didn't have on my list. Now that you mention him, I'm like, shit.
I mean, Jesus, man. I mean, Assault Attack, Built to Destroy. Even the stuff he did with Robin McCauley is more radio friendly stuff, like Anytime.
Good stuff though.
Like and the album he did with Robin McCauley before that, Perfect Timing. That was just a great album. Then Give Me Your Love. I can't think of the names right now. But man, this guy's just every album that he's been on, there's always been more good than bad on him, in my opinion. I mean,
Michael Schenker rules.
Fantastic guitar player. And I can't believe he does not get from people like us, he does, but man, we're talking about Rolling Stone or anything like that. Well, you would think Rolling Stone would know about music, but I question that half the time.
Yeah, it's been at least a decade since I read a Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah. But man, the guy is definitely top 5 guitar player in my books, man. I mean,
I remember they had that magazine called Blender. It's like a music magazine. That was a really cool magazine, but it didn't last that long, unfortunately. But
I'm actually in that magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
I swear, dude. Like,
I believe you. Absolutely.
When I went to the first Rush convention in Toronto in 2001, Blender magazine was actually there and covered that convention. And they took a picture of me and my wife, and we ended up in the magazine.
Who was on the cover of that? Because I still have some Blender magazine.
It is Gwen Stefani is on the cover.
Oh, I don't have that one.
So
I'm gonna have to eBay that one. I think
I'm gonna pull it out and take some pictures of it and post it online.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool. But man, that was a really good magazine because they always had really cool articles of music and lists and rankings. And then they would do I think they also did it was kind of like the Maxim music.
It was that same company.
It was that same company, right? Yeah. Okay. Man, Maxim was a hell of a magazine.
I did like that magazine a lot, though. Yeah.
But Michael Schenker made me dye my hair blonde one time. I love that guy so much. Now it's like a natural color of him now, but yeah, I'm mind boggled why this guy does not get the attention that he deserves. I mean,
yeah, he's coming to town. I think next month.
I think he's back with Robin McCauley. I think is his singer.
Isn't he playing?
He's playing with Wasp.
Wasp.
Yeah, the singer. His singer is Robin McCauley. I think I think he's back with them. So
he's going to be part of that little tour.
Well, he was doing a tour with like all his singers at one point, right?
Yeah, Ralph Yerra went to that. He posted a lot from it. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Michael Schenker. Yeah, dude. He just came out with an album. I think a couple months ago. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. What's your number one?
Well, this band just really. I mean, you guys. I mean, well. Andy did. I don't think you had him on your list, Metallica, right, Jerry?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I have Metallica on my list.
Surprise! It's Metallica.
Yeah. Number 2.
The band ruled my life, and then when I was in high school, their first 4 albums are like they were my Bibles. Yeah. You know, when I was getting into real heavy music, I got into them between Ride the Lightning and Master Puppets. It was when Ride the Lightning had already been out probably a year before Master came out. And I remember, I think I told this story where one of my brother's friends brought over, they used to play Dungeons and Dragons together, and I used to play with them as well. And he brought an album over, it was Ride the Lightning, and he put it on, and I never heard anything like this in my life, dude. And I was just like, what the hell is this? You know? But as a kid, you know, you get intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Saw the cover with the blue and the electric chair. I was like, "What the hell is this, man?"
Yeah, it starts out this little pretty acoustic number, then all of a sudden,
and then just slams your face, back. Yeah, it's a pretty acoustic. You know, you're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool," and then all of a sudden, just blast your face off, man. And I don't know. Their first 4 albums are just cornerstones of thrash metal, and they'll never be bettered. You know. So I mean, they ruled my life when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And the EP as well, Garage Days. I love that.
Dude, that was a great freaking EP.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I remember when I first started freshman in high school, for ninth grade, and Cliff Burton passed away like a week or two into school. Wow. And that was just such a big deal, like for all us metalheads, man. It was like, one of us was like taken, and it was pretty sad times. But I didn't get to see them until the Monster Rock tour, so I never saw them with Cliff, unfortunately. But I did see them before, And Justice came out, and they wiped the floor with everybody on that bill, man. They just came out with so much energy and just like they just had something to prove, and they were awesome, man. So, and then later on after the Black Album and everything, I kind of was just like whatever, I got into other bands and stuff. I still kept up with Metallica a little bit here and there, but nothing will ever beat those first 4 albums. So that's it, So Metallica's my number one.
Okay, so you had one. You had them at 1. Jerry had them at 2, and I had them at 3.
Yeah.
So they were mentioned. I think that might have been the only band that was mentioned by all 3 of us.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Wow.
You didn't mention Megadeth, did you?
I mentioned Megadeth, but Andy didn't know. Andy didn't know.
And no one had my number 1. And I think y'all might guess what this was because I had asked if I could put them on there. And Jerry said yes. But my number 1, y'all know how much I love Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
These fools. The Mothers of Invention. Just amazing, man. They're all dressed in drag. This is like 68. And then of course they've got this alternate cover.
Yeah.
The Sgt. Pepper one. And Frank actually got upset because he had asked Paul McCartney if they could have that as the actual cover back in the day. And Paul McCartney said, well, let me ask, some managers or whatever. And Frank said, dude, you're fucking Paul McCartney. You shouldn't have to ask anybody,
Exactly.
So, but my number 1 is going to be Mothers of Invention. I got so much music by them, and their music is just, they sound like nobody else. Even today, no one else matched that genius or madness or just off the rails or whatever people want to call what Mothers of Invention was.
Oh yeah, they were definitely off the rails.
Man, it all still came together. It all came together somehow, some way. There's a rhythm to their madness, and I can't remember the song, but there's a song. And there's like a play of their dad going, with that saxophone, you could have been in blood, sweat, and tears, but no, you joined the Mothers. Just so great.
Yeah, I tried to slip Iron Maiden in here, but Andy wouldn't let me.
Yeah, come on.
I was going to say Maiden, but I found out there's a band called Maiden. I was like, I couldn't use that one then. So,
hey guys, but that concludes for the letter M. Thanks
I got like a little bit of I got a list of bands that didn't make the cut. I'll just go over them real quick.
Oh yeah, that's fine because I got a list too.
Okay, so ones that I had on my long list that didn't make the cut: Merciful Fate, Melvins.
Oh yeah,
Mastodon, Ministry.
Yeah,
Ministry. Monkeys didn't make my list, but it made Andy's list. Mother Love Bone. Motley Crue didn't make my list. Marillion. Marvin Gaye, Meat Puppets.
Oh yeah.
The Misfits, Monster Magnet, Mott the Hoople, and Moody Blues.
I had Moody Blues on my list, but they didn't make it. But I've been able to see Mastodon twice. The last time I saw them was during a festival.
Yeah.
And they came on so crazy. They came on right after Tears for Fears.
Wow.
So imagine that.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was a really nutty weekend, And another band also played on that bill too, and it was Dropkick Murphys.
Oh wow, okay.
Which was really weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Hey Jerry, do you got any honorable mentions? Because I'm going to go
Yeah,
through a couple of
it was so hard to come up with these 10 that I just really couldn't think of anything else. When I did it 5 days ago, I did it for like 3 or 4 hours trying to think of people that start with an M. I should have thought more the days afterwards. I can't believe I missed fucking Motorhead. Excuse my language. I'm going to get slammed for that one. Fuck.
That's all right. I picked up the slack on that one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
No problem.
Motley Crue over Motorhead.
That's okay. I picked Motley Crue over Motorhead.
I know.
My ones that I wrote here that didn't make the list. Michael Schenker Group was on mine. Marvin Gaye was on mine, but so were the Miracles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also Marilyn Manson. Interesting band. Manchester Orchestra. They're more of a newer band, and I saw them in concert in October. I saw them at the what's the name of that venue? It's in New York City.
Venue?
The Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. I liked it.
I've been there plenty of times.
I really like the old movie kind of theme or the way that it feels. But also Manchester Orchestra there, the Mamas and the Papas, but I didn't include them. Manfred Mann's Earth Band, which is a band that I'm getting into right now. My Morning Jacket, which is another band that I really like that's more early 2000s. And speaking of 2000s, have you ever heard of Matt and Kim? It's a husband and wife group. She's the drummer. He plays keyboards. Matt and Kim.
Oh yeah, she had a really bad leg accident on stage. I remember that.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, that song, hey now, girl, something like that.
Yeah. They would come to Houston quite a bit for some reason. And my wife
plays the drums. She plays the drums, I think.
Yeah. She played the drums. And there was one festival we went to here in Houston, and man, it was full. And they just did so well. And I think
I saw a video of her, man, trying to jump on stage, and there was a fan in the way. She didn't see it, and she really fucked up her leg on stage. But she managed to stay on and do 4 or 5 more songs before I think she passed out in pain. I think, but yeah, I have heard of them before. Yeah, they were a very high energy group. Yeah,
and of course Mastodon was on it. I did have Montrose and Mountain on here. They just didn't make the cut. But those were my honorable mentions. I knew that we were going to do honorable mentions, so I kept those to the side just in case we all wanted to do those. All right, guys, that was our first segment that we did for our letter. Next month, we'll pick another letter. I'll get that categories dice, and we'll see what the letter is. I just wanted to do M because it starts for music. Also, next week is a new segment as well called Guest Choice. What Guest Choice is
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, and it's whatever album the guest wants to talk about. So we'll go track by track, and I've asked Al to do the first one, but
I'm still trying to figure out the album. So
all right,
I'll have one by tomorrow, so that way you can listen to it for a week at least. So
okay, do you got it down to a couple? What do you have in your mind?
There's a couple of ideas, so I'm not going to mention them, but
okay.
I'm trying to pick something that you're not too familiar with, so you can get acquainted with the album that I like. So
okay, sounds good to me. All right, and then tomorrow I'll be on the BS sessions with Mark and Jerry. And Jerry will be on there, and so will Mark, and so will be Charles. We'll be doing the top 11 comedians.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so it took me a while, and in fact, I'm still messed around with my list. Even today, I had to take someone out and put someone in.
Yeah,
I have my 11, but I don't have them in order yet. So, except for my first 4, I have them in order. But
yeah, I put mine in order the other day, but I had to move some.
I'll have to check. I'll have to watch the episode.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. I've got a couple of new guys on there. A couple of new guys that have come on the scene during the past couple of years. So, Al, do you got any shows that are going to go up on your YouTube page coming up?
I saw Rammstein last night. I didn't touch on that. One of the most intense freaking stage shows I've ever seen. So that's already up on my YouTube. And since last night, I put it up last night. It's already almost at 10,000 views already.
Dude,
it's insane how many views like it's already, gotten.
Right.
But I guess there's such a kind of a global
thing for
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they played a stadium here. They played where the Giants play. They played a stadium.
Yeah.
Well, the amount of pyro that they use, you can't use that inside in an indoor arena. There's no fucking way, But it's the most pyro, and they had like some great effects, man. I mean, I don't really know much about Rammstein. I mean, they sing in German. I don't understand the song.
Right. Yeah. That's why I never got into it.
But my friend had an extra ticket, and I'm like, you know what? I heard about this spectacle, so I'm like, let me go and check it out. I heard it's like insane, and they really lived up to it, man. They make Kiss look like amateurs, to be honest with you, with all the pyro and all that shit they use, man. It's unbelievable, And flames just fucking everywhere, dude. I mean, you felt that heat, and it's one of those bands you don't want to be up close to see. You want to kind of sit back.
And get the whole spectrum of
the whole, yeah. So
yeah,
but that's up on my YouTube page. Now I'm so busy with my move and everything. I'm not going to see a concert probably until like next week. But I am going to go see Porcupine Tree.
It's like
I'm going to go see Porcupine Tree because I love that band.
Oh, Porcupine Tree.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever heard of them or not, but
I've heard of them. Oh yeah,
that's one of the albums in contention. Maybe I might have you listen to, Andy. So, but I'll let you know tomorrow. And but they're playing Radio City Music Hall, which is a great venue here in New York City.
Oh yeah,
pretty famous. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check them out.
I've never been inside, but I've gone to New York at least three times, and I always have to go see Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
I always have to go take a picture in front of it.
Yeah,
hang out there for no apparent reason. I just do. I think it's a great place.
But that's what I got going on. So,
in a couple of weeks, my wife bought us tickets to go see Billy Joel. Cool. So that will be my first time to see him.
Oh, dude, that's another concert. You're gonna know every song.
Right? Yeah.
You're just gonna be singing along and like really, you're gonna leave there with a smile on your face. So
yeah, he's playing Minute Maid Park, the Astros ballpark, and the last time I saw Paul McCartney was there too. Was at that ballpark.
Yeah, you'll
put on a pretty good show there.
Yeah, you'll love Billy.
Well, I am looking really forward to it because it's one of those bucket lists I've always wanted to see. Yeah. So I can really scratch that off. I really liked it for a long time. And I know that he tours extensively, but I've just never had a chance to see him. But I will be able to. It's going to be by the end of this month. So that's going to be really something to see.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll see you back here next Wednesday at 8 p.m. That's going to be guest choice on that album. Jerry, I'm going to do guest choice every 2 or 3 weeks. So I'll give you the next one if you want to do one.
Yeah, I'll be available next week, but the week afterwards I'll be on vacation again. So
okay, yeah, and I'm going to be on vacation the third week of October. But also we're doing ranking Pearl Jam albums in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we got a couple of shows
coming up. If you want me on.
Cool. I got you and a buddy of mine named Dave Martinez. Me and him used to listen to Pearl Jam when they started. When you had that high school college buddy, y'all would drive around town, just doing whatever and having the tape deck there and just popping in. And that's what we did with Pearl Jam and Counting Crows, me and him. So I will see y'all next week, and Al will be with us too, and we'll see if Jerry's going to be around, and then we will see y'all next week. Y'all take care and keep on rocking.
Thank you, guys. Jerry, Andy. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys.
Later.